Here we are for an afternoon sunny walk. So I've got Oscar here who did boot camp with me a while ago now. Good boy. And he's just boarding with us. And he has got a super high prey drive. Super high. So he's remote collar trained. And when you're walking him on lead, he's vigilant the whole time. He's alert, he's looking, even though he's walking at a fairly slow pace, he's in prey drive all the time. And you can see with the behavior around the ball, so grabbing it, shaking it, he's quite obsessed about a football as well. So if you go to get it, he'll give up quite a bit of resistance. He won't be aggressive towards you, but he often won't release it. Oscar, come! So he's a high energy dog. He's a lovely dog, but he is high energy just because of his prey drive. Leave it! Oscar, leave it! Oscar, leave it! Oscar, leave it! Leave it! Leave it! Shh! Leave it! Oscar, leave it! Leave it! Leave it! Oscar! Leave it! Leave it! Shh! So there you go. That's how high his prey drive is. So balls are a no-go for this dog. So Freddie, my Jack Russell as well, I can't have him around toys that squeak because it just sends him into such a high prey driver state. And there's an issue sometimes when dogs are so obsessed with toys or food that they then become so heightened by it. The adrenaline is just running around their body that they can start to become possessive about it, and then you get aggression issues. So balls are a no-go for Mr. Oscar. Unfortunately, I forgot it was out on the glamping field. So I'm going to have to just work with him now and get that off him, and then we can go for a nice walk. There we go. So now that I've recalled him off the ball and we've put the ball away, let's go. Let's go, guys. Come on. Tilly. Tilly, come. Tilly, come. So what's good about him is that before he would just leg it into the woods, which he still might do, but now he's kind of hanging around with the pack a little bit more as well. So he's kind of interested to see what they're doing, as well as doing circuits around the glamping field. He also just hangs with them a little bit and interacts with what they're sniffing with. Oscar, leave it. Good boy. So anything he wants to pick up, I'm just telling him leave it, because he gets super obsessed. It's a bit like me with cake. I can relate. So I'm going to let him have a little explore in the woods. But as long as I can keep an eye on him and see him, and then I can recall him when I want to. So he gets to practice prey drive. He gets to be in prey drive. Oscar, come. Oscar, come. But there's limitations about it. Oscar, come. So I'm just working him on the remote training collar. Oscar, come. Good boy. So every time I say Oscar, come, I'm just bringing the level up slightly. And as you can see, he's just calmly turning and coming and recalling. Come on, Tills. And that's all you want. You just want them to be respectful, turn and come when they're called. So these guys are also in prey drive, but very low level prey drive. They're scenting, they're sniffing, they're eating rabbit poo. But their prey drive is a lot lower at the moment. So this is also prey drive. Good boy. So Oscar's more visually driven in his prey drive, whereas these guys are more scent driven in their prey drive. That's why the nose is on the ground. And Milo's just a case all by himself, really. Milo is the lost property dog of the farm. He will go and find any gloves, bits of clothing that have been dropped on the farm. He will go and find it. and then he'll go and bury it somewhere else. So he turns it into a treasure hunt, which he loves. So there we go, clears up the farm for us. Oscar, come! So there, I want him to just turn and come back to where we are. Good boy. Good job, mate. And I'll probably do a little bit more work on him actually when he comes into me. He has to come in, he has to stop, he then has to sit. Leave it! Leave it! Oscar! Leave it! Leave it! Leave it! Oscar! Leave it! Leave it! So that took a while. So he's just gone and found another tennis ball. Leave it! So I'm going to recall him early there. Hey! Shh. Sit. Oscar, sit. 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 Or lay down. I'm happy with that. That's fine. Good boy. So because he was so fueled up with that, I now want him to come back in, like I said, and hey! Shh. Sit. Sit. Down. Good boy. I want him to come back in and just switch off for a minute. But you can see, physically he might be lying down, but mentally he's still in an alert state. He's still looking. He's not tuning in with me at all mentally. So you can have a dog physically in pack drive, but mentally they're still in defense or prey drive. And that's what he's in a little bit. Alrighty. There we go. That's my sharing for my this afternoon's walk. So now we can work him around the ball. Leave it! Leave it! Leave it! Oscar, come! Oscar, come! So what you end up getting, because you've done remote collar training with them, you've got that foundation of understanding that they have to stop, turn and recall. The hope is, leave it! Oscar, come! Oscar, come! Shh. Oscar, come! Oscar! Good boy. So what you want eventually is not to have to use a remote training collar. They just come on your voice. Leave it! Leave it! Oscar, come! Oscar, come! So that time I didn't use the remote. I just gave him a couple of calls. And he is in a lower energy state now because he's just been herring around the field. So he's able to respond a little bit better. He's not so adrenalized. But he's a very independent dog. He's not what I would call a pack dog. He doesn't need to be around other dogs. He just is very independent. He hunts most of the time when he's out off lead. But you have that remote collar on him as a backup, so if he doesn't respond to your voice and he starts chasing something, then you've got that backup, that safety to recall him. So here he starts to go towards Milo and then drifts off. Good boy. So now the ball is not as relevant to him. It's not as important. He's not as obsessed by it because he's learned that every time he goes towards it, he'll get recalled to come away. Come on then, let's go.